Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to The Body Speaks. Are you listening? This is episode 7. I am someone who healed from rheumatoid arthritis, a condition that attacked my body when I was 27 years old. Over the years of searching and learning and doing the deep inner work, I discovered something that changed everything. The body is our alert system. And for a long time, my body been trying to get my attention for decades before I finally understood what it was saying. I'm so glad you're here. I'm Susan, certified somatic trauma-informed coach, and the rest of my credentials are in the show notes below. Last episode, we sat with depression and diabetes and digestive issues, 3 conditions that are all in their own ways about the relationship between the inner world and the body. I hope something landed for you, and I hope you are beginning to hear your own body in a different way. Throughout this series, we explore different physical symptoms, conditions, and diseases, not to replace your medical care, but to help you understand that your body is sending you alert signals, asking you to pay attention. Every symptom, every diagnosis, every condition that arrives in your body is a message. And when you learn to understand that language, the whole picture of your healing begins to change. Today we move into the E's. We'll be talking about ear problems, eczema, and endometriosis, 3 very different conditions. One about how we hear and find our balance, one about what erupts to the surface when it can no longer be held inside, and one that speaks specifically to the feminine body and the story it has been asked to carry. Let's start with ear problems. The ears have 2 jobs that most people only think of as one. They hear and they balance. The inner ear is not just the organ of sound. It is the organ of equilibrium, of knowing which way is up, of maintaining stability as the world moves around us. I find it worth sitting with both of those functions when ear problems arise, because often the body is speaking to both at once. When we think about hearing through the body's language, the question is always, what is there that I do not want to hear? Not necessarily an external sound, though that can definitely be a part of it in environments of chronic noise, conflict, arguments, or chaos. More often, it's something closer to home, a truth that keeps arriving and keeps being turned away, a conversation that needs to happen but feels too dangerous to have, a voice, perhaps the inner voice, that has been consistently overridden until the ears themselves begin to close down. In the homes where there was arguing or criticism or emotional volatility, the ears learned early to brace, to filter, to manage incoming sound, not just physically but emotionally. The ears of a child growing up in a household where what was said was frequently frightening or confusing learned a particular kind of selective hearing, not as a dysfunction, but as a protection. Ear problems often arrive in adults who learned as children that what they heard could not be trusted, or that what they heard was too painful to keep receiving. The body, faithful as ever, eventually tries to create the distance the mind could not. The balance thread is equally important and often overlooked. The inner ear governs the vestibular system, our sense of stability, of knowing where we stand in physical space. When life becomes destabilizing, when the ground beneath us shifts, when circumstances feel unpredictable, when we cannot find solid footing in our own life, the inner ear can mirror that exactly. Dizziness, vertigo, the sense that the room is moving when we are standing still. In internal family systems, I think of ear problems as connected to a manager, that has been working very hard to control what comes in, to filter the environment, to protect the exile from hearing what would be too painful. And sometimes, when that filtering has been working overtime for too long, the physical mechanism of hearing begins to reflect the exhaustion of that effort. The question worth sitting with is, what have you been trying not to hear? And what might it feel like to finally listen to the outer world and to the quiet voice inside that has been speaking beneath the noise? Now, the chakra connection with the ears is the throat chakra and the solar plexus. The throat chakra is like hearing and being heard are two sides of the same energetic coin. So the throat chakra governs not just speaking, but the full cycle of communication, including receiving. When there is difficulty being heard or a deep reluctance to hear certain truths, the throat chakra is almost always involved. Ear problems that develop alongside difficulty speaking up or asserting oneself often have a strong throat chakra thread. And with the solar plexus chakra, the inner knowing, the gut instinct, the sense of trusting what we perceive. When we have spent years in environments where our perceptions were dismissed or denied, where what we heard was contradicted by what we were told we heard, the solar plexus, the center of personal truth and self-trust, can become depleted alongside the ears. So the invitation would be to find a moment of genuine quiet today. Not distraction, not any background noise, but actual quiet. And listen to what arises in the silence. Your inner voice has been speaking. It is waiting for a moment of enough stillness to be heard. And perhaps the life lesson for ear problems, particularly when they keep returning, often carry a life lesson about listening, specifically about learning to listen to the right things. We live in a world of relentless noise, relentless input, relentless other people's voices telling us who we are and what we should do and what is true. The ears that keep struggling might be asking, what would change if you learned to distinguish between the noise that depletes you and the voice within that has always known? What needs to be heard that you have been drowning out? Learning to connect with what your body's telling you is the first step. For the physical dimension, magnesium and zinc are both well researched in supporting ear health. Reducing excessive caffeine and salt can support circulation to the inner ear. And somatic practices that calm the nervous system, particularly the vagus nerve work like extended exhales and gentle humming, can directly support the vestibular system by calming the entire threat response the ears have been living inside. Now let's talk about eczema. The skin is the body's largest organ, and it is also in every sense our boundary with the world. It is the line between what is us and what is not us, between what we let in and what we keep out. It is the part of us that is most visible, most exposed, most in contact with everything around us. When I think about eczema through the body's language, I think about what happens when that boundary is under pressure, when the line between inside and outside, between self and other, between what we are willing to receive and what we are not, becomes inflamed, reactive, and raw. Louise Hay described eczema as breathtaking antagonism and mental eruptions, and I find that phase extraordinarily precise. Eczema erupts. It does not build slowly and quietly the way some conditions do. It flares and it surfaces. It makes itself visible in a way the person living with it often desperately wishes it would not. There's something significant in that visibility. So many people with eczema are people who have learned to keep everything contained on the inside, to not show the friction, the frustration, the sensitivity, the things that irritate them deeply. And when all of that cannot be held any longer, it erupts outward through the very boundary organ of the body. Eczema often shows up in people who are deeply sensitive, both emotionally and literally at the level of the skin. The sensitivity is not a flaw, it is a gift. The question is whether there is a safe enough outlet for it, or whether the only place it has left to go is through the skin itself. The anxiety thread is also significant. Eczema tends to flare during periods of heightened stress and anxiety, particularly the kind of anxiety that comes from feeling exposed, scrutinized, or unsafe in one's environment. The skin, which is literally the body's armor, responds to the sense that the boundary between self and world is not secure enough. In IFS, I think of eczema as connected to a firefighter, a part that erupts dramatically when the exile's distress has become too much to contain. The skin becomes the escape valve for what cannot be expressed any other way. The eruption, it's not random. It is the body's way of saying, this has been held for long enough. Something needs to get out. The question worth sitting with is, what has been irritating you? Not just on the surface, but underneath. What friction, what frustration, what sensitivity have you been trying to keep contained? And is there a safer way to let some of it out before your body finds its own way? Now, eczema maps onto two energy centers, the solar plexus chakra and the root chakra. The solar plexus is all about where we can find anxiety, the sense of being exposed and vulnerable, the struggle to feel safe in one's own skin. All of these live in the solar plexus, and when this center is chronically depleted or activated, the skin can reflect that state of inner alarm. Eczema that flares around situations of visibility, scrutiny, or conflict is almost always connected here. And the root chakra, which is the base of your spine, is our basic sense of safety and belonging. The skin as boundary becomes most reactive when the root sense of security is most threatened. Children and adults who grew up in environments where belonging felt conditional, where they had to be a certain way to be accepted, often carry that conditional belonging in the skin, the organ of contact and connection with the external world. So the invitation for you is to place your hands very gently on any area of skin that has been reactive, without pressure, just warmth, and offer that skin, that boundary, that place of contact and protection. I know you've been working so hard. I'm going to find a better way to process what has been building. And let it know, let your skin know, and whatever issue is beneath it, that it is allowed to soften now. Now, the nervous system connection with eczema is well-documented relationship that goes far beyond coincidence. The skin and the nervous system are actually made from the same embryonic tissue. They develop together in the womb, which means the skin is, in a very real sense, an extension of the nervous system itself. When the nervous system is in a chronic state of fight or flight, which is common in anyone who grew up in an emotionally volatile or unpredictable household, or who has spent extended time in a stressful relationship, the skin tends to become hyperactive alongside it. The immune response in the skin becomes dysregulated in the same way the entire stress response becomes dysregulated. Calming the nervous system does not just help eczema feel less distressing to live with, it can actually reduce the frequency and intensity of flares because the skin and the nervous system are not separate systems responding to the same problem. They are the same system. So perhaps the life lesson with eczema often carries something about expression, specifically about finding safe, conscious, chosen ways to express what is sensitive and tender and real before the body is forced to express it uninvited. Many people with eczema are also people with a rich inner life and deep feeling that has not always had a welcome place to land. The recurring question the skin might be asking is, where in your life are you allowed to be fully, visibly, and honestly yourself? And what would it take to create more of that space? Now, learning to connect with what your body's telling you is the first step. For the physical dimension, omega-3 fatty acids support the skin's barrier function directly. Probiotics help regulate the immune response in the gut and the skin simultaneously, and reducing exposure to artificial fragrances and harsh chemicals, anything that might further irritate the skin. And also boundaries. Allow the skin some breathing room while the deeper work continues. Now let's talk about endometriosis. Endometriosis is a real, physical, often painful condition that affects millions of women worldwide. Everything in this section is offered alongside medical care, never instead of it. If you're living with endometriosis, please know that this conversation is not about cause or blame. It is about adding an additional layer of understanding to a condition that medicine alone does not yet fully explain. Now, endometriosis is a condition in which tissue similar to the lining of the uterus grows outside of it, on the ovaries, the fallopian tubes, and throughout the pelvic region. It causes pain and inflammation, and for many women, a level of suffering that is frequently dismissed or minimized, or diagnosed only after years of being told the pain is normal or in their head. That dismissal is itself part of the story. Women with endometriosis have often spent years not being believed, not being heard, having their pain assessed as something other than what it is. And there is something deeply significant in the fact that a condition affecting the reproductive system, the most specifically feminine part of the body, is one of the conditions most frequently dismissed by medicine. When I think about endometriosis through the body's language, I think about what both Louise Hay and Ina Segal point toward consistently, which is the relationship between this condition and the suppression of the feminine. Not femininity in any superficial sense, but the deeper feminine, the creative, the feeling, the instinctive, the cyclical, the part of women that knows things in ways that cannot always be explained, and that has often been told that this knowing is not valid. Endometriosis tissue grows where it does not belong, spreading into spaces it was never meant to occupy. In the body's language, this can speak to a life in which something fundamental has been growing in the wrong direction for a long time. A creativity with no outlet, an identity suppressed by circumstance, a woman shaped by the expectations of others until something inside began expanding in ways that could not be contained. The themes that appear most consistently across healing traditions when it comes to endometriosis are insecurity, disappointment, frustration. Feelings that have been long-standing and unresolved. A relationship with being female that may have been complicated by early conditioning, by experiences of abuse or dismissal, by messages received about what it means to be a woman, about whether the body is safe, whether femininity is a gift or a burden. Ina Segal's work specifically points to feelings of depletion and rejection, giving and giving without receiving in return, carrying the emotional weight of others without the support of being truly seen and cared for. This pattern is extraordinarily common in the women who come to me with endometriosis in their history. In internal family systems, I think of endometriosis as connected to a deeply burdened exile, perhaps a very young part of a woman who learned early that her body was not fully hers, that her cycles and her feelings and her needs were inconvenient or shameful or too much. And that exile, unmet and unseen, eventually begins to express her presence in the most undeniable way the body knows. So the question we're sitting with is, gently and without any pressure to answer right away, what has your relationship with being a woman, with your feminine body, with your own creativity and feeling life actually has been like? Has it been welcomed? Has there been space for it? And what might shift if it were? Now, the chakra connection is the sacral chakra, and this is the energy center of creativity, of sexuality, emotion, and the reproductive system. It governs our relationship with pleasure, with feeling, with the cyclical nature of feminine experience. The sacral chakra is where we process emotional experiences, where joy and grief and desire and disappointment are metabolized. When this center carries long-standing, unsolved emotional content, particularly around femininity, creativity, or early experiences with the body, the physical organs in this region can be affected. The sacral chakra is also the center of flow, of allowing things to move through rather than accumulate. An endometriosis in which tissue spreads and accumulates where it should not can be seen as a reflection of energy that has not been allowed to flow freely, emotional content that has not had a safe place to be expressed and released. So I invite you to place your hands on your lower belly, below the navel. Breathe warmth into this space and say to this part of your body, this center of creativity and feeling, I am sorry for the times you were not welcome. I am here now, and I'm listening. Now, research consistently shows that women with endometriosis have significantly elevated levels of chronic stress and emotional dysregulation compared to those without the condition. This is not coincidental. The immune system plays a central role in endometriosis. It is the immune system's job to identify and clear the misplaced tissue. And in women with this condition, this immune response is compromised. Chronic stress, particularly the kind that comes from living in emotionally volatile or abusive environments, directly suppresses immune function. A nervous system that has been in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn for extended periods cannot maintain the immune regulation required to keep the reproductive system healthy. This is why so many women with endometriosis also report histories of significant emotional stress, difficult relationships, or childhoods in which safety and emotional support were inconsistent. The body is not random. The nervous system, the immune system, and the reproductive system are in constant conversation, and when one is dysregulated, the others feel it. So perhaps a life lesson with endometriosis would be reclaiming the feminine, about learning to value, protect, and nourish the specifically feminine dimensions of who you are, the creativity that has not had an outlet, the feeling life that has been managed or suppressed, the need for rest that has been overridden by the need to keep going. The body's reproductive system, the most creative system in the human body, may be asking, what would it look like to truly honor your feminine nature, not as a role or a performance, but as a living, feeling, creative force that deserves as much care as you have given to everyone else. Now, learning to connect with what your body is telling you is the first step. Anti-inflammatory nutrition would be omega-3 rich foods, reducing processed foods and refined sugar, and increasing leafy greens supports the body alongside medical treatment. Turmeric has research behind it as a natural anti-inflammatory, specifically relevant to endometriosis, and the somatic practice of regularly placing a warm hand on the lower belly and breathing into it and speaking to this part of your body with genuine compassion is a simple daily practice with profound effects on the nervous system's relationship with the pelvic region. 3 conditions today that each in their own way speak to the relationship between the inner world and the boundary between self and other. Ear problems, the hearing that protects and the balance that steadies, and the question of what is finally safe enough to listen to. And eczema, the sensitivity that erupts when it has no other way out, and the deep feeling life waiting for a safe and chosen form of expression. And endometriosis, the feminine body asking to be seen, to be believed, to be honored with the same care that has been given to everyone else. All 3 conditions are messages, not punishment, not malfunctions, not evidence of anything broken beyond repair. Messages from a body that has been working faithfully, creatively, and persistently to get through to the mind. And the extraordinary thing about messages is this: once they are received, once the body feels genuinely heard, something in the whole system begins to shift. Not always immediately, not always completely, but the direction changes. The conversation changes. The relationship between you and your body changes. You are receiving the message right now by being here, by listening, by being willing to ask what your body might be trying to say instead of simply trying to silence what it is saying. The infinite intelligence within you has never stopped trying to communicate, and it has never given up on you. It has never run out of ways to reach you, and it is here right now in this episode, in this moment, in the gentle, persistent, faithful language of the body that has been speaking your name all along. And now, if you're ready, let's begin your guided meditation. Find yourself a comfortable position. And if you can have your feet flat on the floor and both hands up and open in your lap. And let your eyes begin to close if that feels safe. Taking in one slow, deep breath in through your nose and a long exhale through your mouth. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw release. And let this moment be entirely yours. Doing 2 more breaths in through the nose and a longer exhale through your mouth. And begin to bring your awareness gently to your ears. Not to listen for anything in particular, just to notice them. These 2 small organs that have been working since before you were born, filtering sound, maintaining your balance, and telling your body which way is up. Think about everything your ears have heard in your whole life. The laughter, the music, the words that hurt, the arguments they learned to brace against, the silence they longed for and sometimes never got. And from your higher self, from the deep, loving, wise part of you that has been here through all of it, go ahead and speak to your ears now and say to them, thank you for hearing everything you have had to hear. Thank you for the balance you have maintained through conditions that were often destabilizing. I am going to give you something quieter to listen to now. The voice within, the one that has always known. I am ready to hear it. And breathe. Now bring your awareness to your skin, your whole body's surface. This extraordinary boundary that has been in contact with the world every moment of your life. Absorbing, protecting, feeling, sometimes erupting with everything it could no longer contain. If there is any area of your skin that has been reactive, inflamed, or struggling, bring your awareness there gently now. And perhaps you can place your hand over it if you can reach it. And just feel the gentle warmth of your hand. And offer this boundary from your higher self to this beautiful, faithful organ, your skin, and tell it, I know how much you have been holding. I know that what erupted was not malfunction. It was communication. It was the only way something real could get through. I'm listening now. And I am going to find a gentler way for us to process what's been building. You can now begin to soften skin. The threat is not as great as it once felt. And breathe. And now gently and tenderly bring your awareness to your lower belly, below the navel, the sacral chakra space, the center of creativity and feeling and the specifically feminine experience of being alive in a body. And place one or both hands there now. Feel the warmth of your hands meeting this part of you. And from your higher self, offer this space something it may not have received in a very long time. Tell it, I see you. I know you've been trying to speak. I know the messages you have been sending have not always been understood. I know this part of you carried things that should not have been shared. I know this part of you has carried things that should have been shared. That this creativity has sometimes had nowhere to go. That this feminine knowing has sometimes been dismissed or denied. I am here now. I am not dismissing you. I believe what you have been saying. And I am willing, beginning today, to make more room for you, for your creativity, for your feeling, for the specifically feminine wisdom that lives here. And breathe. Now feel all three places at once now. Your ears, your skin, the lower belly. 3 places the body's been speaking from. 3 messages that are all at their root the same message. I am here. I have always been here. And I've been waiting for you to listen. So go ahead and speak this final thing to the infinite intelligence within you, to God, to the universe, and to Source. I am willing to hear what my body's been saying. I am willing to soften the boundaries that have become walls. I am willing to let the creativity, the feeling and the knowing move through me more freely. I trust the intelligence that has been speaking through this body all along. I am grateful for every faithful, persistent, loving message it has sent. And breathe. Now take in one nice deep breath in through your nose and a really long deep exhale through your mouth, letting your body and your mind slowly come back to the present time, giving gratitude for this healing. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. Today we talked about 3 conditions: ears, eczema, and endometriosis. 3 messages from a body that's been working extraordinarily hard to get through. Whatever you're carrying, whether one of today's conditions is yours or belongs to someone you love, please be gentle with yourself for the rest of today. This work asks something real of us. Take a walk, drink some water, Let yourself rest a little in the knowing that your body's not your enemy. It never was. In the next episode, we continue into the F's. We will talk about fatigue, fertility issues, and fibromyalgia. 3 more conditions that, when you understand the emotional root beneath them, will never look random again. And you can find me also every week with Soul Whispers coming home to you along with these episodes. And if you're ready to go deeper, if something connected the dots for you and you want to say yes to your body again and find ways to communicate with it even more, I do offer private sessions and free calls to decide if we are good to work together, and that is in the show notes below. I would love to hear from each of you. Please leave a comment and tell me, did something land for you today? And if it did, which of these 3 conditions spoke to something that you recognize? Your recognition might be exactly what someone else also might need to read. If the Body Speaks is helping you understand your body, please subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you'd be so kind to leave a thumbs up and share with one person whose body has been asking for their attention, I would be so grateful. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you next week. Love and hugs.